Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem, amma ba'd, fa'auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri, wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. We need to talk about media and we need to talk about the challenges which are there in media. Me being myself in media for 12, 13 years, going to different channels and interacting with many people, I would like to basically share with you how it's like to be in media and what is the role we can play in media and what are the challenges that we face once we are in media. Now, to understand that, we must understand the different impacts of media, which are not only on the masses, but also on us being in media. Because once you are interacting, you are over there, it's not only something that you're conveying to people there, it's something that you're learning yourself as well. So basically when you stay in that environment, you get immune to everything. You get so used to so many aspects and messages which are conveyed to you that after a while, you feel like part of the game. So how to stay conscious is very important because we do find out that too much exposure to media brings in aggression. This is what the people believe in. People also believe how the sexual depictions are there and how it is influencing the sexual behaviors in the society. And also what are the different kind of exposures to language and how you talk to different people, your parents, your spouses, your siblings, even people in the community, they are influenced by media. And actual media facts range. Violence, news, how you can persuade people into acting upon in a certain manner, sexual messages, the use of new technologies, sports, religion, and different characters and how we associate those characters to our own life. And yes, the invasion of the privacy is always there. And we can see all these effects. But if you're actually working in media, any form of media, these are the common pressures that you will face. The cultural pressures, something that you're learning at home, and once you are there on a certain channel, certain media platform, what is actually happening over there and how you're going to relate something that you have always been living with. And now this is a challenge for you, how you overcome that. Then the competitive environment, then the glamour, hits and ratings, deadlines. I remember 3 years back, I was working with a very reputed channel and I was preparing with them a series, a 30-episode program. It was my first time with that channel, that producer. When I was doing my first program, even when I had an experience of 10 plus years on different mainstream channels, the producer was constantly on my nerves and he was telling me, your getup, your scarf, your language, how you talk, what kind of guest you present is going to bring us hits and ratings. And the rating has to be high. So much so that I took such an intensive pressure of that, I actually had tears in my eyes. I got so frustrated I was not able to focus on my program. So after recording 2 programs that day, and when towards the end he again said to me, Dr. Saab, hits aani chahiye, rating high honi chahiye. It's all about rating. So I looked up at him and I told him, listen, my programs are not about rating. My program is about delivering the right content. So I don't care about rating. I care about the sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But yes, there is an immense pressure of these things once you are in media. And then we have this responsibility as in Surah Al-Imran verse number 104. وَلْتَكُنْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. And let there be from you a nation inviting to good, enjoining what is right, forbidding what is wrong, and those will be the successful people. So sometimes what will happen is, you will question yourself or people will question you. Like I again come across a lot of people who would come to me and say, Astaghfirullah, why did you go to this channel? Why did you go to this morning show? You shouldn't be there. Now, we all have to understand that media in these times is very powerful. It's the most powerful tool for us to communicate something which is appropriate to the people. If I'm not sitting over there, they will call in anyone walking down the street looking like a religious figure and tell them to come up and say anything. So why not me going there and conveying the right content? Because this is my responsibility. Yes, it might not be appropriate for many. But if I am working and if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me the potential to go up and communicate something, why not me? And sometimes people fail to understand and they keep complaining about media. TV pe ye nahi aata, TV pe ye aata hai, astaghfirullah, this is not right. But excuse me, what you are doing for this media. Similarly, we find out from a narration of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whoever among you sees any evil action, let him change it with his hands. If he cannot, then with his tongue. If he cannot, then with his heart. And this is thought to be the weakest state of Iman. So, again, I interact with people and then they look at me and tell me, why don't you conduct a program like this? Why didn't on so and so show you did this? Why don't you come on this channel and that channel? Well, as audience, have you ever called them? Have you ever told them, we want this speaker? We demand this kind of program? No, never. You have to understand the psyche and the dynamics that run on media, especially the TV channels. You demand something, they will give it to you. Because it's all about marketing. Whatever, they look at what the people are asking for. I know this anchor person, and recently she produced some programs which I didn't appreciate. And I was actually talking to her and I was telling her, what are you doing? It's not you. She said, yes, it's not me. But do you know this is exactly what people want? I tried to produce some healthy programs, but I didn't get any input from the audience. Nobody called, nobody watched. But when I brought in trashy stuff, everyone appreciated. The hits and ratings went up. Why? Because a common person at home, a maid who's sitting at home is watching. People are watching that trashy stuff. And all the intellectuals, they're saying, Astaghfirullah, we have to stay away from it. I'm not saying you watch it, but you can call them. And then people say, kaun call kare? You have to call them 100 times and then you get through. So I don't have that much patience and time. But those people who are calling 200 times and appreciating that song, that music, that vulgar character, they are giving them those highs. And we are at the weakest level of Iman. We need to write articles, talk to them, ask them, demand them. You people, the audience, can influence media. But remember this thing, that we all are fed by media. Whatever we get, that's how we behave. So let us quickly try to understand some of the impacts on the audience as well as us when we are in that environment. Cognitive media effects are very, very important. It actually influences your mental process. If you keep working with different teams, different people, and your initial time when you start working with them is totally different. And when you stay in that environment, you keep listening to what they do. I have seen many bloggers, many people who are in media, print media, social media, television, different channels, different talk shows. I have actually seen them drifting away from their basic ideology. Why they actually came into media. And human mind, it absorbs all this information, and when the human mind takes up this information, it goes into the memory. And once it's in the memory, this is knowledge for you. And human mind, what it does, it gives you new meaning to everything that you do. What kind of dress code and ideology you followed initially, or the passion you had initially, and how gradually it gets so transformed that you could be actually convincing people about other aspects. And that is why it's very, very risky. These messages are going to become your real life principles. Then let's look at the belief system, how the media affects that. Faith, that something is real or true. The media will create and shape your beliefs in such a manner that you will directly see yourself like that. Why people are talking about court marriages so much now? Why people are talking about wali, the father and brother, as a big hurdle in their life? Why women are talking so much about feminism? I had never heard the term marital rape. And now every girl wants to understand that. I had never heard like the mixed up concepts. If you watch, I'm not saying that you watch, but if you get to watch, me being in media and whenever I'm sitting somewhere in my office with family members and their screen is on and they're talking about a certain drama or a certain thing which is really in, you do get the glimpses of what they are up to. One aspect that I have seen very clearly in media is when they're portraying a person who believes in Quran and Sunnah as it should be believed, they will always show you that figure as extremely rigid and barbaric. He is a killer for the family members, killer for the society. And then towards the other spectrum, they will show you a person with mixed up ideology, is going to a Pir Sahib, is going to a Mazar, a Shrine, and at the very same time, what that person is doing is a very nice person. Has a lot of humility. He himself has beard, or a lady who is very religious is letting his daughter or son have boyfriend or girlfriend. Go to any college and university and do something. So what we are gathering is anyone who is on the right practices of Quran and Sunnah is someone to be warned of. How to talk to parents, how to talk to your siblings, how to have that saas-bahu relationship. We are getting ideas on how to chat, have extramarital affairs. So everything is there in our belief system. It's just going there. And each of us hold beliefs about existence of great many things like that. And we are talking about all those aspects because many times when I'm teaching youngsters and they ask me a certain question and I'm like, where did this thought come from? What's actually happening? And sometimes when I look at parents, they are conveying all those right messages. But then I realize when I look at the media, the kind of write-ups, the kind of ideologies, very convincing ideologies which are being passed. Then we have these attitudes. Judgment about something, judgment about a character's attractiveness, the hero status, likability, and the stories that are over there, the controversial kind of stories and advertised products. Everything is having an effect on us. So media is affecting our feelings, our emotions, our moods, fear, lust, anger, laughter, everything we are learning from them. And then Whenever we are stressed out about our life challenges, we move to media. I'm so upset about a certain thing, let's watch a movie. Let's listen to a song. These are the only things which are giving satisfaction to people. There is physiological effect as well. When you're watching something, how your blood pressure, your body responses are there. You go into fight and flight response so many of these times. And it's like for a normal preparation of something that you do, but we are using it in a wrong manner. So different behaviors that we are learning. There are a lot of studies which show that whatever you watch on the media, you start acting like that. And the researchers also expose people to particular media messages, and then they study their effects. And that is why millions of rupees or millions of dollars are spent on advertisement in all these aspects. So we have cognitive effects in which you are processing and storing information. The belief system is you're learning from there. The attitudes, what is important, how you're taking the effects. Ultimately, your behaviors are transformed. So if you plan, this is your passion, you want to be in media, you have to be on high alert about all this. You have to be on high alert. Why? Because you will be conveying things to people. How would you convey things to people when you yourself get sucked in by all these? Because once you are there, you're sitting there, and there are 10 people or 15 people or 20 people every day talking about something else. And then the competitive environment. Once I was on this morning show, a girl called, fan. And when she called and she actually got through to the anchor person. The way she talked, she was like, मुझे यकीन नहीं आ रहा, मेरी आपसे बात हो रही है, मुझे कुछ हो रहा है, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही मैं बोलूं क्या. I had been trying your number for days and days and actually got through. So the anchor person looked at me, but I was obviously quiet. I was listening to the conversation. And then she said, आप मेरे लिए दुआ करें. Please make dua for me. And the anchor person said, what kind of dua? She said, आप मेरे लिए दुआ करें, मैं आपकी तरह बनना चाहती हूँ. एक दिन मैं इतनी सक्सेसफुल हूँ कि मैं आपकी तरह मीडिया में आऊँ. I want to be like you, an icon like you in media. You know what the anchor person said? You are like my daughter. And I make this dua that you never get this opportunity to be in my place. Yeah. When she said that, the producer immediately said, break time. And we went on break, and all the cameramen and the producer, they came after the lady, and they said to her, ma'am, how could you say that? Do you know how it will affect the rating of our program? Do you know these girls, they admire you, what kind of impact they will take from you? I was still quiet. And the lady, she was defensive about what she said. She was very clear. She said, I don't want any girl to face the misery of this glamour and get stuck in this mud, in this dirt, in this filth, in this kind of pressure, ever. Ever. And they were like, again attacking her. So finally I had to come to her rescue. And I said to the cameraman over there, I said, listen, if you are so convinced about what she's doing is right, and all the girls, whoever want to have the chance and opportunity should be allowed, would you allow your wife or your daughter to be here like her? And he looked at me and he said, nahin, Dr. Kanwal, wo to obviously not. I said, excuse me, wo obviously not? But at the very same time, you want the other girls sitting anywhere to idealize this glamour? He said, but this is our profession. This is what we live on. And this is something that we have to propagate. So imagine the impacts which are going to all those people and how they see this industry. So media influence, you acquire that media influence. Every media message is composed of different elements, and if you keep getting those messages again and again, you become used to that. Message elements, they include facts, images, sounds, expert attitudes. And then during this media exposure, a person can pay attention to certain elements of the message and they can just stay stuck in the memory. And you never know what kind of messages will ultimately be part of your thought process. So within seconds to years, you can be a different person. You could be taking all those impacts.